Greetings, members, one and all of the Salivation Nation. Could the rise and fall of GameStop, AMC, and others happen to silver? Let's explore. Most of you are aware of the news now that we have seen GameStop and AMC stock just skyrocket. And now, late word is that trading applications like Robinhood and interactive brokers, TD Waterhouse, and Charles Schwab, well, they have stopped trading. Although breaking just now is that Robinhood will allow limited buying of restricted securities on Friday. And now we'll probably see that stock rise a little bit more with that breaking news. But retail brokerages have restricted trading on Thursday in GameStop and other stocks caught in a frenzy that has captivated Wall Street and caused big losses for hedge funds. Free stock trading pioneer Robinhood and interactive brokers said that in some cases investors would be able to sell only their positions and not open any new ones. Both brokerages raised margin requirements on certain securities. And Robinhood has told some of its clients that it will close out some positions automatically if the client was at risk of not having any necessary collateral. Shares of GameStop after that announcement initially reversed their gains, sliding quickly into negative territory. The stock, which traded above $500 at one point in pre-market trading, closed down 44% on Thursday. And it is something that was originally trading for about $4 a stock. And you had these hedge fund managers and people shorting their positions $4 a trade. And now they're caught with having to spend a lot more money for their positions and with these margin calls and the like. And there's a lot of stuff, and this is really not completely out of the realm of normalcy with some of these day traders that make these kind of moves in these stocks. And we know that this is a form of manipulation, but it's a manipulation that happens on the other end. And again, some of this has occurred, I believe, and has occurred, and we've talked about it, we've documented it here, some cases illegally, for silver, for the precious metal markets, as is the case with other commodities as well. But could it happen to silver? I think possibly, maybe it could, yes and no. You know, silver is a commodity, and that's really essentially how it's traded mostly, although we do see it as a hedge as well, too. People put money into silver to hedge themselves as well. And in the marketplace, that's going to be in terms of SLV, and what happens if we all get together and say, hey, let's crash JP Morgan and buy silver? Well, that has been tried before, and look what that got us. Essentially, there wasn't a whole lot of activity there that really caused the market to go up. We did see the prices go up in 2011, but I think that was for different reasons and not necessarily because of the crash JP Morgan crowd. But ideally, and understanding that the silver market is a small one, is a very small one, well, these stocks are essentially monolithic. They are with representing just single companies, and their stocks are performing based off of the health of the company or the future of movies in the case of AMC, which doesn't look to be all that great at this point, considering with the coronavirus and all. So in a sense, yes, they can be pumped up fairly quickly. In this case, it was sort of a grassroots effort on Reddit. Could that happen with silver? Well, some people think possibly so. And that could cause it to go up. Will Robinhood and some of these other applications, TD Waterhouse, say, okay, well, we're not going to allow you to trade SLV because of some of these hedge fund managers shorting the position or what have you? I don't know. I guess it's really never been tested, I guess, in that regards. But shares of GameStop, they ballooned about 200% this week and nearly 930% this year. And this is thanks to emboldened retail investors, Reddit chat rooms trying to stick it to the Wall Street pros. The rookies are piling into names heavily shorted as by hedge funds, squeezing the stocks higher as the institutions rush to cover their losses. Can we squeeze the silver shorts too? Can that happen on our end? I don't know. I think in some sense, if you have an SLV position, it may not be a bad idea. But silver is really not undervalued. It's not so low that it would be, I think, in a sense, riskier to try to make that move upwards and to see where it goes, considering how volatile silver is. And besides, silver as a hedge and as money, well, it's going to react following gold. And silver has been so far removed from gold and concerning the ratio that I think it's going to take a lot more than just a couple of people on Reddit or what have you, or even here in the community to try to go ahead and just buy up all the SLV you can, as that's really what it's going to be, unless you just buy physical. And I would argue that it's a better case for buying physical than anything else. There's already a lot of movement or there's a lot of demand for silver right now in the markets, and I think that's going to continue in some cases. And there's also a lot more demand for gold as well, and that just means higher premiums for us when we accumulate in the physical world. How will that translate, as far as being able to make money on it down the road? Probably not going to fare very well for us. We've been down this road before with silver. So your best bet if you're going to try to make that move is to get involved in the stock market. Get on your Robinhood app and buy up SLV. How many will do that? I don't know. I've been sent several emails about it, but these things have been tried before, and I just don't think that they can recreate that effort here with this in this particular case, because silver is not a monolithic asset like some of these other stocks that are out there. Silver operates in a different way, I believe, because of all the different aspects of the things that are around. You've got silver mining stocks, you've got SLV, you've got physical, you've got silver futures and the like, and all the different efforts that are pushing and pulling against silver that are different than what they would be in some of these other stocks. But it is fascinating to see how this is occurring, and what some of these organizations and trading platforms are doing to try to stop the bleeding from the hedge fund managers. But this is really nothing new. From what I understand, this happens every day to some extent. It's just that this is really blown up. The steps by Robinhood and Interactive Brokers taken Thursday were more drastic than what brokerages did earlier in the week. TD Ameritrade and Charles Schwab raised margin requirements on Wednesday. And of course, people are outraged, some of the customers from Robinhood, and understandably so too, because from what I understand, what occurred on Reddit was completely legal for them to do that. It was a grassroots effort. It wasn't anything that was out of the realm of the law, but apparently it made a lot of people nervous. So silver stackers are kind of emboldened by this, probably thinking, well, we can probably do the same thing with silver and cause it to go up. And I'm focusing on silver because many people feel silver is undervalued. Although I don't think that's the case, at least to a degree. I think to some extent it is. But I believe as commodities, it's probably trading right around where it needs to be now, considering that it is a commodity, more so, I believe, than it is as a hedge. And the volatility of silver is as such, and the amount of silver that's out there in the physical realm is not really in short supply. And it really is going to take probably a two-pronged effort to really get silver to go up. A lot of people buying it digitally and a lot of people buying it physically. Could that happen? Yes. Increased demand for something is going to cause prices to go up, just as you saw the case here in the monolithic scenario that we have with GameStop especially. And so we'll see how this is, but essentially it's about pushing back against Wall Street, and I think that's a great thing, but it's always risky getting involved in stocks, I believe, and this is why, what you see before you here in this display, it is an example of something that can't be manipulated once it's in your hands. It can be toned and what have you, but it can't be manipulated. And I think that's the beautiful thing about it. Some of the silver that you see here has been bought at different price levels. And those different price levels reflect themselves in more ways than one. But in the end, we hold silver as a way to protect ourselves against economic instability of any sort, of any kind. But it becomes increasingly difficult to be able to do so when we see the price fluctuate so dramatically as to what do we do? When do we sell? Do we have to sell the silver? Do we have to, are we inclined to buy if it takes a huge dip? I don't know. Timing those buys has never been something that I've been very good at, which is why I like to buy it and hold it. And because I don't have the stomach for what these day traders do. And I'm pretty much risk averse all around anyway. So that's something that helps to shape my viewpoint and on the matter, and which is why really, until this story punched me in the face and I came up with the idea of this video, I really had not given it that much thought. But I don't believe really that you can recreate the efforts of the Reddit community with GameStop as you can with silver. I don't think it's too complex. And I think that's another reason why, by the way, that silver, I don't believe especially, is manipulated on a grand scale, what I refer to as macro manipulation. I just think that there's too much involved, too many entities and interest involved in silver in both directions. Macro manipulation, and really, as what we are seeing here, this is an example, I believe, of micro manipulation based off of individuals in a particular community. That is something very real, and it happens every day. We're seeing an extreme example of it here. I believe it's happened with silver. It can probably happen legally and illegally, such as what we saw with J.P. Morgan in spoofing. And that stuff needs to be dealt with handedly. But the manipulation can occur on the way up, and it can occur on the way down in terms of the price structure. So there you have it. So there's my answer to that question. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.